Good day. My name is Abigail Parra Parra. The name of my work is Phase Transformation in Mixtures of Clay, Glass, Hematite, and Waste Activated as Sludge during Sinter. The purpose of this work was to study phase formation in a multi-component mixture consisting of clay, fusible glass, and hematite, and subjected to sintering in the temperature range of 800 degrees Celsius up to 1000 degrees Celsius under conditions of oxygen deficiency. The complexity of the initial composition implied not only the formation of the carbon component from waste, but also its activated participation in the process of reduction of oxide system and the formation of new compounds and consequently ceramic materials with new properties. The methodology consists in preparation of 3D specimens from homogeneous mixtures of clay, glass, waste, hematite, and hematite. After the temperature treatment of the specimens at 800 degrees Celsius, 900 degrees Celsius, and 1000 degrees Celsius during 3 hours under conditions of oxygen deficit. After that, the specimens was characterization by SEM EDS X-ray data and determination of sample properties, strength, electrophysical, and adsorption properties. The results of SEM show that the specimens have a porous structure. It is said the porosity decreases when increase the temperature treatment and also when increase the content of clay in the specimens, in the mixture. But when increase the temperature treatment up to 1000 degrees Celsius, the porosity increases significantly. This is due to the intense release of water and carbon oxide and carbon dioxide vapors. As shown in local EDS analysis, we can observe that the samples contain elements belonging to the component of the original mixtures. However, their contents change in different places. But also we can observe that the presence of a small amount of carbon in the samples are present. X-ray diffraction results show that the temperature treatment of mixtures in the range of 800 degrees Celsius up to 1000 degrees Celsius is accompanied by the formation of a number of new crystalline phases. The specimens treated at temperature of 800 degrees Celsius, the most representative phases are phyllite and quartz, with less representative phases like silicates. The same case in the specimens of 900 degrees Celsius. We can observe phases like phyllite and quartz and a little amount of phases of silicates. The sintering mixtures at 1000 degrees Celsius, the phase composition of the samples change significantly. The main phases are wollastonite and iron, and also hematite. Phases of hematite appears. In table 1, we can observe the composition of different mixtures. It is a mixture of two different components. For example, red clay plus glass and was with hematite, and also the principal phases in each temperature treatment. We can observe that the content of wollastonite increase when the glass content in the initial mixtures increase. We can say also that the absence of halo in the characteristic of the glass phase in the diffraction patterns and the representation of the above-mentioned crystalline phase indicate the occurrence of interaction process between the initial components of the mixtures. As a result of new components are formed, the absence of traces of carbon in the diffraction patterns indicates the active development of oxide reduction process. Now, strength properties of the specimen is shown in the next graphic. It is possible to observe that the compressive strength of the samples significantly depends on the composition of the mixtures and the temperature treatment of the specimens. In specimens treated at 800 degrees Celsius, we can observe that we obtain specimens with ultra-strong force. But in comparison with the specimens treated at 900 degrees Celsius, these specimens correspond to the standard values of required for brick products. It is said from 70 to up to 150 kilograms force square centimeter. The decrease in the compressive strength of the samples may be associated with the formation of a large number of compounds that are fragile compared to fayalite, such as wollastonite. We considering that this kind of ceramics, it is possible application in the structural wall ceramics. The measured resistance of the samples should be changed depending on the content of the initial mixtures, and the measurements of the samples centered at 800 degrees Celsius showed that the samples which has a high presence of fayalite obtain values from 15 up to 55 ohm meter, and we can consider these specimens like resistors. When specimens present high predominant content of fayalite and iron, the resistivity value is low, and we can consider these elements or these specimens like conductors. But what happened with the specimens of 900 degrees Celsius? Well, due to the presence of fayalite and iron, the resistivity is low. It's the same case in like these specimens. When the current is passed through the samples obtained after temperature treatment of 800 degrees Celsius, we can observe a heating effect. It is said that specimens present heating range in the range of 50 degrees Celsius up to 100 degrees Celsius. This depends on the content of the initial mixtures. In the case of samples treated at 900 degrees Celsius when current passed, there is not heating effect due to the low value of resistivity. The absorption properties of the samples were determined from an aqueous solution of methylene blue by sample fragments, and we can observe that the process of absorption will be depend on the initial content of the mixtures and also depending on the temperature treatment of the samples. It is said that samples treated at 800 degrees Celsius present better absorption properties in the first 4 hours in comparison of specimens with treated at 900 degrees Celsius and specimens with treated at 1000 degrees Celsius. The process is slow. Nevertheless, this absorption process is long and slowly and will be depend on the content of fayalite. From literature, we know that fayalite present absorption properties. It is said that the specimens which has predominant content of phases of fayalite will be better absorption properties. Well, like a conclusions, the analysis of phase transformation in quaternary mixtures heat treated at 800 up to 900 degrees Celsius show that several processes occur simultaneously during the sintering. It is said thermodestruction of wasp with carbon formation and phase transformation in silicate system with carbon participation and formation of phyolite, wollastonite, and feldspars. The sintering of samples at 1000 degrees Celsius present a thermodestruction of wasp with carbon formation and is accompanied by phase transformation in the silicate subsystem, including the predominant formation of wollastonite, feldspars, and anorthite and albite, and allocation of iron and hematite phases. The presence of quartz and chrysolite is due to their presence in the clay used. The formation of feldspars of different composition is associated with interaction process between the glass and clay components. And depending on the content of the components in the initial mixtures and sinter temperature, it is possible to change both the composition of newly formed phases and their content, and eventually to obtain composites of different compositions with different physical and chemical properties. Thank you very much.